Welcome to our webinar, What to Expect at Red Raider Orientation. We are excited to have you joining us today. My name is Christine Self with Parent and Family Relations, and joining me is Zach Manning from Orientation Services. This webinar is part of our Red Raider Family Webinar Series, where we share information of topics of interest to parents, families, and the supporters of our students. We hope this webinar will help you get prepared to attend Red Raider orientation with your students this summer and learn what to bring and what to expect. We will share information about next steps, but know that this webinar is primarily focusing on attending Red Raider orientation. Don't worry, as you can see on the screen, there are other webinars this summer focusing on topics like financial aid and tuition billing, living on campus, campus safety, and others. We do plan to keep this webinar to about 30 minutes or so. If there's time at the end, we'll open it up for questions using the Zoom Q&A feature. In the meantime, feel free to type your questions throughout the presentations. We have some great folks working behind the scenes to help answer those for you. We are recording the session and posting it to our website so that you'll be able to review it again later or share it with others. We will also email the recording link to the email that you used when you registered for the webinar. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to turn it over to Zach Manning to answer some questions for us. What exactly is Red Raider orientation?
Yeah, thank you, Christine, and thank you all for joining us today. We're so excited that your student has decided to be a Red Raider and you are ready to support your student in their time here at Texas Tech. So Red Raider orientation is your student's opportunity to come to campus primarily to meet with their academic advisor and register for classes, but it's so much more than that. Really, for parent and family members and guests and supporters, it's a time for you to gain more information about Texas Tech University as well as Lubbock and how you can support your student when you're at home and they are here. So really, orientation, there is a lot of information being disseminated. So we always encourage parents and family members that if you can attend, that's great. That way there's just one more set of eyes, one more set of ears to gather that information. And if you are unable to attend, that's okay too. We have a number of services, primarily with Christine and her team, to help support you through that time. But if you can attend Red Raider orientation, we highly encourage it so that you can continue to support your student throughout their time here at Texas Tech University.
Wonderful. And what should families encourage their students to do, or what should they do before Red Raider orientation?
Yeah, great question. So removing holds impact your students' ability to register for classes. They can check their holds at our website, www.orientation.ttu.edu. And the more they can take care of before orientation, the better off they'll be. Those primarily include housing, immunization records, and TSI, or Texas Success Initiative. Those are the three major holds that can be completed before orientation so that they don't impact their ability to register for classes at orientation. Another important thing is to check their Texas Tech email daily. I saw a question even came in just now about having issues checking their email. Our IT help services and Help Central team are outstanding. They can be reached. This is a really easy number. It's 806-742-HELP. That's 806-742-4357. A good number if you're having any kind of IT issues. Contact them, but check their email daily. That's where orientation, housing, advising, and so many more different offices and departments from Texas Tech University will be communicating with your student. They also need to complete their Red Raider orientation online modules. They might have completed those already. It's about 60 to 90 minutes worth of content. It's available on our website, but it's there to help your student become prepared for what to expect at orientation and throughout their time at Texas Tech University. That's something they can access until classes begin. So really encourage them to do that as soon as possible and revisit it as they have more questions. That's something also y'all can go through with your students so you gain that information too. That's just a few of the things to do prior to Red Raider orientation. Christine?
Yes, so those are some things that your students should be doing, but there's stuff for you to do too. Make sure, if you haven't already, that you've signed up to be a member of the Red Raider Family Network. You probably already are a member. In fact, we sent out a notice about this webinar using the network, so you're probably already there. But make sure you log into that. Make sure your registration in that network is complete. We will send a monthly newsletter from Parent and Family Relations to you. Kind of once you become a family member of a current student at Texas Tech, you'll expect additional communications from us. You'll also receive emailed updates based on your interests. And once your student's enrolled, you will use the Red Raider Family Network to request access to student records. So I'm sure you're probably interested in doing that. That's something that we will talk about quite a bit at Red Raider Orientation in our parent and family session. So the stuff you can do right now is make sure you're in the network, make sure you log into it, and we'll tell you what the next steps are from there at orientation. So if you're coming to orientation, Zach's going to tell you a little bit about guest fees.
Yeah. So again, if you are able to attend, we highly encourage it. Adult guests ages 8 and older, there's a $50 guest fee that is non-refundable. So hopefully y'all are starting to shore up who is coming to orientation, who isn't. If you're still not sure, we can add guests up until the week of their orientation. So please know that. But if you know someone is coming, go ahead and register them now so we can make sure we're adequately prepared and we have enough materials for everybody. Children 7 and under are free, so feel free to have them join us. And what does that guest fee cover? That's a question that comes up often, and that includes our program materials. We also have a day 1 fajita dinner that you and your student will enjoy together, along with our Red Raider Orientation crew and other parents and family members and students from across the state and country. Also, you'll get a unique Red Raider Orientation guest t-shirt. I've seen them. They look pretty solid. And so you'll be able to pick that up at our parent and family member social. Orientation can be a lot. There's a lot of information, and this is your opportunity to take a little deep breath, get a beverage, relax, enjoy some company of other parents and family members, and get that orientation t-shirt. Parking, staffing, our Red Raider Orientation crew, and the work that they do to help facilitate orientation, and of course, other administrative and technology costs are what that what that fee will cover.
Awesome. So what else about, what can you tell us about the schedule? What should folks look forward to on day 1 of Red Raider Orientation?
Okay, yeah, so day 1, there's a lot going on. We will get started with check-in at 10 a.m. On the first day. Parking will be in the Z3 parking lot at 19th in Detroit. We'll show you a map here in just a little bit where that is. But check-in will be in the Student Union building. That's where 99% of orientation will take place. But we're going to get started. If your student hasn't done it already, they're going to have an opportunity to remove their hold. Also, if they need to change their major, I highly recommend they do it before orientation. But if they haven't yet, we can do that then. We'll have a welcome session where we'll kind of walk through the schedule, tell you what to expect, have a little bit of fun. And then from there, you will be led to your academic college. You will hear about the specifics of what it means to be in the Rawls College of Business, or what it means to be in the Huckabee College of Architecture, and what your student can expect there, and how you can support your student as they're in that academic college. From there, Christine and her team have a great presentation on how to support your student as they become a Red Raider. Also, how are you going to go through that transition as you're at home and your student is here? So she's going to provide some great resources for you there. We also have a campus resource campus resource fair, where you will learn about all the different offices and departments that your students have access to here at Texas Tech, and that you're probably paying for. So you definitely want them using that. We will have breakout sessions to learn more about financial aid and student business services. We know that the FAFSA has been a challenge this year. It's been a challenge for us too, but we want to make sure that you are prepared and know how that you are going to pay for your students' tuition and fees. Also, first year success. It's such a transition going from that high school to Texas Tech University. First gen Raider experience. 1/3 of our incoming students are first generation students. And so we want to make sure that they are supported, but also that, again, you have those resources to support them. Learn about study abroad, student organization fairs, and so much more. There's a lot going on that afternoon. And then we're going to have some fajitas. They're delicious. I eat them all summer long. And so you can enjoy that if you're a paid guest with your student. And then, of course, the parents and family members will head over to the McKenzie Market Alumni Center to enjoy a social, relax for just a little bit, get that t-shirt, and enjoy the rest of your evening. And that's what the first day is covered. If you're looking for the specifics, if you go to our website, www.orientation.ttu.edu, you can look at all the different details. So you can start planning out where exactly you want to go. But that's what the first day looks like. Christine, you want to talk about the second day?
Yes. So again, that first day, action-packed, lots of great things to do for your students and for you as well. Day 2 is a lot of opportunities to learn about academics, and of course for your student to get their advising and registration handled. So day 2 will start in the morning, 8:30 a.m. You'll have a session on with your student on preparing for student success at Texas Tech. And then students and families will head out to the various colleges for academic advising. Know that that academic advising experience will look different for each college, but you will be able to go with your student over to those areas. We'll also have the One Stop, which is a place where you can stop and ask your kind of last minute questions. Our office will be there, Parent and Family Relations, along with the Texas Tech Parents Association, and some others. And this is also the time where you can schedule individual meetings to meet with financial aid, student business services, and military and veterans programs. There's also a really exciting opportunity for your first pick at Jones AT&T Stadium. That's going to be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now that stadium, we are still working on it. It's under construction, but you still get the opportunity to go out there. And that'll be a really great time for you and your family to get that picture on the field. That's something that not everyone gets to see. So that'll be really exciting. There's also library tours. Your students hopefully going to be spending some time in that library using the computers over there, using the resources in that building. And so the library and our undergraduate writing center have arranged for a self-guided tour over there. So be sure and check that out. If you happen to be a Texas Tech alumni, that library looks really different from when you were a student at Texas Tech. And then just a reminder, when you're making your travel arrangements, do not plan to leave orientation prior to 2 p.m. Just to make sure that everything is taken care of and your student has plenty of time to get things done without being rushed. And then we mentioned a little bit about parking earlier. And so this map, you're welcome to take a picture of this. You have access to the slides on our website, and we'll send that link out after our session today. But this will show you kind of where you'll be parking. So that red circle that says Z3 parking, this is where you will park your vehicle. The students will be staying at Hewlin Clement Residence Hall, which is marked on your screen. And then you can see that from where you're parked, check-in is not very far away over in our Student Union building, also called the Sub. So you can go right over there with your student for check-in. And then we've also marked on the map the McKenzie Murcutt Alumni Center. So that's where your family social will happen in the evening. So the Student Union building is kind of the hub of orientation. This is where the large meetings will happen. And then you will be led to the various colleges for those college level meetings. So be prepared for some walking while you're here for orientation. And then Zach, speaking of parking, I know there's some reminders about parking.
Yeah, parking. If you've never been to campus, it is a large campus, so get ready because we're excited to have you here. But parking, some important things to know is that as you are able to park at that Hewlin Clement Residence Hall, where the students are staying, you can also park near wall gates, but please make sure you park in that residence hall parking lot. If you park other places, they're reserved lots, and we would hate for anything to happen to you while you're here. But 1 week prior to your Red Raider orientation, you and your student will receive an email with more details and that link to register your vehicle for orientation. If you have a rental vehicle, maybe you're flying in and you got a rental car, you can also add that the day of your orientation. That won't be a problem at all. Also, we do have handicap parking. If you have a permitted vehicle with a placard or license plate, you're available to park in any handicap parking spots across campus. Okay, so we have spaces right in front of the Student Union building, in front of all of our academic buildings. So if you have a handicap placard and you're permitted to, you can park anywhere on campus where that's available.
Awesome. Now, when we're thinking about traveling, what should students bring with them to Red Raider orientation?
Yeah, a few things. Definitely recommend bring a student ID. To pick up their student ID, they need to bring a government issued ID. So that's their driver's license, maybe a passport, anything like that will be acceptable. Also, as they are registering for classes, sometimes the comfort of your own laptop and tablet is really important and helpful. So if they do have that and they would like to bring it, they can use that for course registration. If they don't have a laptop or tablet, that's okay. Our academic colleges and departments do have laptops or tablets that will be able to be used for course registration at orientation. Also, one of the great things about orientation is that they already have a room waiting for them they're in Hewlin Clement, and they will need extra long sheets, bedding, towels, and whatnot. but a good way to figure out what life is going to be like living in a residence hall in the fall. So it's really great. Also, if your student is doing a combined Red Raider orientation and Red Raider camp, they'll actually be staying in the same room for all 3 nights. So make sure that the bedding is provided or is brought for that. Also, during orientation, we do go to the rec center. So make sure if they plan to swim or work out or do anything like that, make sure they bring appropriate attire for that. We will be providing students with 2 t-shirts during Red Raider orientation. The first day they'll have a white shirt, and the second day they'll have a red shirt that they'll get to wear during orientation. So appropriate clothing for them too, making sure they've got comfy shoes to walk across campus. But that's what students need to bring. We also have a what to bring list on our website that they can check out prior to orientation.
Wonderful. And so as a parent or family member, I want to share some what to bring items for you as well. So if you need to visit individually with financial aid or military and veterans programs, you might want to bring some financial documents with you. Those could include tax returns or, again, military documentation to make sure your student can use those benefits. We've already mentioned it maybe a couple of times, but we cannot emphasize enough casual, comfortable clothing and shoes. It is a large campus. There will be lots of walking around, so be prepared for that. The weather in Lubbock in June can sometimes be rainy. July and August tend to be very hot and dry. Recommend that you check the weather before you head to Lubbock. It can change on a dime. Some of the rooms that you meet in might be a little bit cold. So if you are one of those folks that gets chilly easily, you might want to bring a light jacket or cardigan for the meeting rooms. And then, of course, there are some meals included in orientation, but all of them are not included. So make sure that you bring money and for your student, depending on the schedule, to pay for any meals not included in the orientation schedule. And then what are some general things about, we've talked about the schedule, but what are some general things to know for families attending orientation?
Yeah, so first of all, obviously this is a big step for everybody. And we want to make sure that y'all are prepared again and your students prepared. So most of the sessions, probably about 90% of the sessions, you'll be able to attend together. There are a few times, as I mentioned earlier, when Christine and Parent-Family Relations are doing their presentation, all the students are meeting together within their colleges. So they are starting to create those connections with fellow students and current students about what life is like in their college and at Texas Tech University. And then in the evening hours of day one, again, parents, y'all will go to your family social, and then students will head over to the rec center. But most of the time, y'all will be able to do things together. And your students are going to be meeting a lot of other students and making new friends. And you as parent and family members are going to be meeting a lot of other parent and family members and making new friends. So creating those connections are really important and will only help them be successful as they start here in the fall. And as I mentioned earlier, they're going to meet with the academic advisor from their college or department. So it's really important. Make sure, one thing I always like to encourage students to do is be that self-advocate, right? As they're talking to their advisor, as they're talking about coursework they're going to take. And again, as Christine mentioned, one of the great things is that parents and family members are involved with advising in different capacities. It varies by college. So while you might know what's happening in the Rawls College of Business and have an experience here, it might be very different for your friend who has a student in, I don't know, agriculture. So it's going to vary by academic college, but know that you as a parent and family member are able to participate in that and know what to expect for your student academically. So paying for that bill, right? So once your student registers for those classes, a bill will be generated, but that bill will not be emailed to your student until late July. Okay, so make sure your student, again, checking their Texas Tech email on a regular basis to make sure that they know what that bill is and how to pay for that.
Wonderful. And then some additional things on when you're attending orientation with your student. Here's some things we don't want you to leave orientation without doing these things. So first of all, asking questions. There will be plenty of opportunities built in to ask questions. Again, you will be headed over to the colleges at various points. You will be able to talk to faculty and staff in those colleges. Ask questions. They're there to help. Ask questions of our staff, Parent and Family Relations. We are your office on campus to help you with that transition of becoming a college parent. And so be sure and meet us in person at orientation and ask us questions as well, or of course, follow up with us via email or phone call anytime. As Zach mentioned, students are going to be meeting friends at orientation, making connections, and we want you to make connections as well. So when you're at the big overall family session, we're going to literally ask people to raise their hands if they're from certain parts of the state or out of state. So meet those other families, maybe from your hometown, and you didn't even realize that you had a hometown connection of going to Texas Tech. When you're at the colleges, you might want to make sure to make connections with other parents and family members whose students are in the same major as yours. So that would be great for you all to, to have those folks to reach out to commiserate, celebrate, and ask questions of each other. And then some other updates.
Yeah, so again, if I haven't said it once, I haven't said it enough, but make sure they're checking their Texas Tech email. That's where all official communications from Texas Tech are being directed. Again, updates about housing, orientation, advising, opportunities for involvement as a student here are all being directed there. I saw a question pop up about, how to get a hold of a student via their Texas Tech email. There's a chance they may not even be checking it yet. So make sure that your students are not in that category. Make sure they're checking their email on a daily basis to make sure they're informed about what's going on. And then again, as Christine mentioned, and I'll let her say it.
Oh yeah, just another reminder, make sure that you're part of our Red Raider Family Network. That is how we're going to communicate with you. Again, you will have the opportunity to request a connection with your student so that you can follow along with the big picture of what's going on in their accounts, whether they have holds, whether they're getting financial aid rewards, different things like that. So make sure you're part of our network and stay on top of that. And going into some next steps, again, make sure that you visit the Parent and Family Relations website. It's pretty easy to remember. It's just www.parent.ttu.edu. We have lots of resources for you on there. If you want to learn more about the Red Raider Family Network, we have a page for that on there. Follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We post a lot of how-to videos and lots of content to help support you while you're students at Texas Tech. And then once again, we have some additional webinars all summer long to kind of help you learn more in depth about some of the topics that we know you're interested in, like finances. I've seen some questions pop up about TSI. We're doing a Ready, Set, Texas Tech webinar on May 29th. Our folks from TSI will be there. So if you want to have a chance to ask in-depth questions of those folks, be sure and join us. We've got some webinars on health and well-being, campus safety, academic success, housing, and all those things. So be sure and join us for webinars. And if you can't make it to a webinar, no problem. We're going to send recording links to everyone. So register even if you can't come, and we'll get that link to you. We want you to save the date for Family Weekend, September 27th through 29th. It's a great time to come visit your student. And if that weekend's not convenient for your family, we have a Family Days calendar on our website. You can come visit anytime. And we put on our calendar lots of really fun things to do for families while you're here. In fact, you can check out that calendar on the weekend or the day of your orientation dates and see what's going on in Lubbock while you're here. And then just again, some reminders about move-in. Students will receive an email from housing about getting their time slot for move-in. Those move-in or those time slots will open up on June 27th. We can't have every single one of y'all moving in at the same time on the same day, or it would be completely chaotic. So you'll want to make sure, again, that reminder keeps coming. Make sure your student checks that Texas Tech email and is ready to select your move-in time with the time slot program. You can also visit housing.ttu.edu for more information related to move-in. That information may still talk more about spring move-out right now because that's going on right now. But later on this summer, you'll see lots of details about the move-in process. And then Raider Welcome is something that we put on here at Texas Tech to make sure that your students are getting engaged with other students and having a great time and learning about the campus. while the lead up to the first day of classes is happening. So if you're concerned about your student moving in early and not having anything to do not be concerned about that. There's lots of fun events with free food, free t-shirts, all kinds of great things. And some more information from Zach to close us out.
Yeah, so again, thank you all for being here today. We want to make sure that you are ready for Red Raider orientation. And if your students come to Red Raider camp, we want to prepare for that too. So please visit our website, www.orientation.ttu.edu. We have a ton of great resources, a ton of great information in there about travel, schedules, what to expect, how to make sure your student is prepared for orientation, also how to make sure you're prepared. Email us, orientation@ttu.edu. Give us a call, 806-742-2993. And when you call, know that you're talking to students who were in your student's shoes probably a year or two ago. So know that they're speaking from experience, and they're here to help you out and help your student get prepared for Texas Tech University. So email us, give us a call. If you want to, follow us on the social media at TTU Orientation. We've got some great stuff going up there too. So the biggest thing is ask questions before you get here. Feel free to reach out. My oldest kid is 12. I don't know the shoes you are in right now, but please reach out with questions. We want to make sure that you as a parent and family member are prepared to support your student as they become a Red Raider.
All right, speaking of questions, keep those questions coming. We will, we are almost out of time, but we will stay and answer your questions that you type in until we've answered them all. So keep your questions coming. While you're thinking about questions, I do see a couple in the chat that I wanted to address. Folks are asking about family weekend. And do you need to buy football tickets in advance, and when do they go on sale? So the answer is yes, you'll want to buy those tickets when they come out. We should have those ready to go, and they are at a discount within the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. So be sure, again, check your email, watch for a notification from the Red Raider Family Network. Also bookmark that website that I mentioned. It's our website, parent.ttu.edu, and we will be posting in our social media channels. So again, just make sure you're following us, and we will let you know when those tickets go on sale. There will be a promotional code for you to use to purchase those. So keep those questions coming. We also would love to hear your thoughts about our presentation today. We're always looking to improve how we communicate with families. So give us just a couple. I think there's maybe 2 questions in here. So please take our survey, and then we've got our contact information up for you. If you have questions, please reach out to us or reach out to Orientation Services. We'd love to help you prepare for orientation and help you be a successful parent of a college student. Any final remarks, Zach? Thank you for presenting today.
No, again, thank you all so much for being here today. Reach out with questions. We want to make sure that you and your students are ready to be Red Raiders. And again, we will see some of y'all in just a few weeks. And it's pretty exciting times here on campus. We're ready to meet each and every one of y'all. But please reach out with any questions you have. Thanks, Christine.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. I'm going to stop the recording, but keep your questions coming. Thank you.